Scratch your eyes!
Well, good evening, everybody. Yeah, it's just me at the moment. Isn't that good? What a treat for everybody just to see this ugly fizzog. Never mind. Justin's sorting out his laptop or something or other, whatever it is, I don't know. But we thought we would come on. We've got a number of bits and bobs to talk about. Obviously, we've got QPR coming up, but I think it's kind of going to be really important that we kind of touch on last night, just at least to add our two penneth to the whole thing. I think realistically, we didn't do a spaces. We never intended to do one anyway. But I must confess, after that, it would have been really grim. And after the Charlton kind of whole reaction, I think everybody needed probably a day or so to take a few moments and just think about what everybody thought. Well, if you haven't had a chance to take a look at the Watford FC website, you'll have seen that Paolo Pezzolano has come out with a few things. So I just thought I'd take you through some of those first of all, and then we'll go into the opposition view sort of element of this, because nothing predicts future performance like past performance, and we need to kind of put that one. Understand it and understand what it means from Pezzolano's point of view, because I think for a lot of people, the pre-season that felt like it was sort of undercooked has just rolled into the season and nothing materially has changed. I think everybody was disappointed, especially with quite a wretched first half yesterday. Let's have a look at what Paolo Pezzolano had to say. He said, "What we saw in the second half, we want to be closer to that team. So we need to keep on improving and keep on growing to be that team as much as we can. The lack of energy in the first half is something we will never allow. It's something basic. We all need to have this in life," he said. He then went on to say, "We wanted to give minutes to everyone so we could see everyone in a competitive environment, to see who can help us and who we can count on." There was the talk of trust, earlier on today in social media. All in all, it's a good thing that this defeat has happened now. We're getting to know each other, so it gives us a place to work from. Okay. You can kind of understand it. If you're going to have something that's going to be a kind of a state of the union sort of look, we've got problems and we need to solve them, better to get it done earlier than late. That being said, obviously we know that our owner won't tolerate this for very long. I mean, again, talking about past performance, predicting future performance, that's not anybody being alarmist. We just know that, Gino wants to have a go at it this season, and how long he will wait, even if he is a disappointment, that's the question we have to ask. However, there were some positives to take a look at, and he mentioned about KB. Quadro Bar can play on the left, which we saw. Obviously, last season we saw an awful lot of him on the right. On the left, he can play on the right. We need to see, depending on the opponent and where we can position him. But he's a very explosive player and he can play both sides. I was quite surprised to see him coming on, because, of course, he'd gone off on sort of in and around 60 minutes against Charlton. And that sort of made you think, well, maybe he'll be one of these that's kind of being held back a little bit like a Banquer. So we will see. Anyway, let's quickly get Justin in, because you've got your laptop working then finally.
Yeah, not to my standard. I don't know what's happened here, but we'll do what we can, Peter, as always, and then I will throw this out the window when we're finished.
Okay, excellent. I like to see that. Well, the other, I think, for everybody through the first half, somebody who's been a real positive and a bundle of joy, basically was Iran Kunda, and he said, "We know the quality Nestor has." Pezzolano added, "He has been working intensely during pre-season. He came in with very few minutes and he has had to work very hard. He's been doing a great job since he joined the club." I think everybody has seen that. And I think the question is, and you were there, Justin, it feels a little bit like, to me, it's we can talk about, and we will do, the players in the building. For me, when I turn around and say I feel we're undercooked, if you make the team up of bricks in the wall, we can question whether or not all of those bricks are good enough for experience. But for me, the thing that felt so wayward yesterday, I mean, he mentions energy, etc. But if I take my brick wall analogy, it was like there was no mortar. There was nothing between anybody. It was like they literally just met. There was no game plan, and it was a really, really depressing first 45 minutes of football. The League Cup is always feeling sort of slightly artificial. There's a lot of spaces obviously available in the stands, but we'd had basically a lot of booing went on, kind of talking about him. Now, one of the things I thought I'd mention was you guys were down in and around the club and talking to people. One of the questions you'd asked was, who has been kind of a standout performer. And one of those ones, absolutely, was Hector Cipriano, who's really seems to be getting a lot of good. What's the word I'm looking for? A lot of good reactions from everybody. Let's have a look at some of those comments.
We're here with Russell. Russell, I'm going to ask you 2 questions.
Yeah.
First question: who's impressed you the most this season? I know it's very early.
Very early.
Very
Only
early.
one game in. Cipriano.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought he played really well
player.
against Charlton.
Second question: what would you change for the QPR game that's coming up this Saturday?
Start Ikrandun and Bar. I start them both together.
He speaks the truth.
I haven't watched any games of football, including Watford.
Excellent, well done.
But personally, Daniel Bachmann has impressed me the most as he's left the club, personally.
What would you change for the QPR game coming up this Saturday?
Probably the kit, to be fair.
Who's impressed you the most?
I think it's the keeper. If you're recording me, I'm not going to try and say his name.
What would you change for the QPR game?
I would take Kieran Gard out,
Okay.
and I would possibly put Dumbia centre forward. I know Vet is out at the moment.
Yeah.
Shepard Hadze's out still. Apparently a month, but who knows? Yeah.
Why are you being like that? Have you had a drink? Have you been drinking? You're angry.
Yeah, just some of those.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. A lot of people commented on Hector Cipriano, and yet he was starting at the base of the defence alongside Elaine, who again we'll kind of touch on in a minute. But let's get through what else our friend Paolo had to say. He turned around and said, it's going to take some time until the team settles in. We need to see the development of the team. We need to see how we wrap up the squad at the end of the transfer window. We're confident over time that the team will get to know each other and we'll see players in different areas making a difference. What were your thoughts on it last night? Because to me, it felt a little bit like, and we've talked about an old team that I used to play in where we had a ringer called Keith, and it was basically, he was known as can play a bit, because it was basically Keith can play a bit. Just get the ball, give it to Keith. We felt like get the ball, and in the first half it was Christ alone knows, and in the second half it was give it to Quadwo or give it to Nestory, and that seems to be sort of where we are. So I think the squad feels stronger because we're going to have more of those style of players who might be able to do something. There seemed to be very little team maturity or development going through pre-season.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was a really, really poor first half. At one point, a coach had gone round to the other side of the pitch and was basically coaching the players from the other side of the pitch until the referee got the ump with that and sent him back to the technical area. What was his name? Bowler.
Alberto Garrido was the coach, and yeah, he would have been talking to Iran Kunda or Bowler, down that side.
Yeah, Bowler did a 5-yard pass and it went out for a throw-in, and he got booed. So it was just a really abject performance and just all touch from stands. Not great at all.
Okay, right. I think you're having problems with your Wi-Fi.
Hello.
You are back there, are you? Okay, fair enough. You're having problems with Wi-Fi. I think I'm
having laptop issues.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what also added problems to the whole thing was the fact that we were seeing this gentleman, Pup Amadou Diallo, who we'd been strongly linked with earlier on in the pre-season, to the point where I'd even done an animation about his time at Metz and his time at Senegal, and he came out and it really, really troubled us. One with his ability and just kind of to be in the right place, and he basically gave Andrews a hard time. But more than anything, with his end product, because for all of the kind of runs that we get from Quadwo Bar, from all the runs that you'll get from Iran Kunda or any of those people, I can't remember the last time we had a player with 2 assists, and within no time at all, he got 2 assists. Obviously putting the ball in for Josh Sargent in the first one, and then the second one, as somebody has said, absolute copyright over to them when I say it. People said, well, isn't it ironic that Selvik pulls out on the day that Bachmann finally leaves the club to go on loan to last week's opponents, Deportivo La Coruña, and then he basically kind of effectively throws one in. It was very poor indeed. So that was frustrating. But that team that we saw alongside Andrews, who frankly, I'm sorry, but he had an absolute shocker, and he has not reached the expectations that we would all dearly love him to do. I think there's always been the question about, is he a right back or is he a right wing back, or is he actually going to be ultimately a bit more of a winger? But he was also had this young man, Max Elaine, next to him, and he had a torrid as well. Making his debut or his full debut, I should say. He came on for about that fateful 3 minutes again against Charlton. At the back, you're playing either side of you. You've got Ryan Andrews, who I'm sorry, he just had a shocker. Sorry, mate, it's nothing personal. I'd love to see him push on to what we hoped he would be. And you've got a midfielder who's been dropped to play deep for some reason. Not having a go at young Hector Cipriano at all. If you go in and you're asked to play somewhere, you'll go in and you'll do it and try and get the game time. But it was a very, very strange formation. It was a very strange setup, shall we say. We also had Semedo, or the wonderfully named Vivaldo Semedo up front, who, similar to Kieran, although I've heard so many different pronunciations of those names, had absolutely no service and very little support coming to him, other than the aforementioned Nesteri Irankunda. And therefore, what we had at half time, we'd already had that that sort of break with about 10 minutes to go, where we completely changed the shape to a 3-5-2, because everything was going so momentously wrong that it was, Egil, can you go down in the box for us, or can you just go down, get an injury, and then everybody was over. They knew what they were doing. Get in and get them organised. And fair play, that's a good thing to do. But at half time, the changes went on, because what happened was, for example, Jack Greaves was moved to left wing back. There's many things that Jack Greaves can do, but left wing back ain't going to be one of them. And the changes happened. Ryan Andrews came out. Imran Louza came on. We got Kebban on. So we actually had a centre back, kind of in there amongst everything. We had Ngakia come on as well, with Tom Deli Bashiru going off. And TDB also had an absolute shocker. All the rumours are that he might be leaving the club. Well, if that is the case, and there's lots of Italian clubs, including Parma and others who've been mentioned, it's one of those, well, is anybody really going to pay the money that's supposedly been mentioned? I'm not sure, but he didn't look like a player who wanted to be playing in the League Cup first round yesterday. Am I being unfair on any of those so far?
No, absolutely not. I agree with you completely on those.
Yeah, so there we go. It was a very poor performance on the back of Charlton, which was not as devastatingly awful as the first half of yesterday. The second half picked up, and obviously we got the we got the goal from Kwadwo Bar, who was imperious when he came on. There was a moment where I thought, oh my Lord, don't get yourself booked, or don't get yourself a red card, when he had what looked to be like a little stamp on somebody at one point, and the referee came over and I think basically turned and told them both, this is handbags, don't be doing that. So he kind of went back and had a look and went, nope, that's it. So yeah, it was poor. It's been poor. We have not seen a jump in momentum going from pre-season into competitive games, and that can only be on, effectively, the buck stops with one person in the technical team, which is Paolo Pezzolano, but the person who's also been, while saying that, very, very high profile and in and around the dugout in both games, has been Valon Barami, who a lot of people have noted that he's in there a lot, and he is the assistant to Nani, who I know was in the
what is Valon's official role? What's his official title?
He's assistant sporting director. So effectively, what he is there to do is be a conduit between, basically the club and as part of Nani's team from the technical point, and to try to basically support the manager. But he seems to be very. He's only just come back, obviously, in this pre-season. Those people who will say, well, not being daft, Gino has been known to interfere and have a number of people, basically telling the manager or the coach what to do. If you hire a manager because he's a promotion specialist, well, sort of let him get on with it, really, I suppose. Yes, but you need to do everything you can to support him. That makes sense. But of course, what we've seen has been we still seem to be that same side dependent on those same players at this moment in time. We haven't seen a step jump or a sea change from anything that we previously had. We had ineffective centre forwards, and at the moment, I'm sorry, but they're young and they've got to learn, and they'll hopefully go through a development curve and really come out the other side and be fantastic players for the club in terms of long-term earning potential in their own career, and hopefully take us up on a wave of goals. But we haven't seen any indication that that's going to be coming anytime soon yet. But we've got to wait. It's all too early. But again, we end up becoming culturally aligned to the fact that we know what our chairman, or our owner, I should say, is likely to do. And of course, the next game comes on Saturday when we turn and we face QPR. Now, QPR had got a 1-1 draw with Preston, and then yesterday they travelled down to Plymouth. Yes, Tom Cleverley's Plymouth, who had 2 defeats, one at home and one on the road on Saturday to Bolton Wanderers, and it hadn't been looking great. QPR took very much their younger kind of under 21s yesterday, so they're going to be concentrating on the league. We sort of did that, obviously, with that team. There was a lot of people who in there who wouldn't normally be starting. But of course, a lot came on in that second half. So they got 45 minutes, etc. Will that be good or bad come Saturday? I don't know. We'll see. However, in order to conduct the opposition view, as we always do, we reached out to Mr. Richard Honey, and we filmed this before because he's currently wobbling around in California and enjoying everything there. But we wanted to know what was going on at that time with regards to QPR. And then we'll just have a look at this, and then we'll just reference somebody who's been linked with them since.
The opposition view. Hold on to your drawers, Mrs. Wendover. It's only Richard Honey.
Yeah. Hello.
QPR
Watford.
fan. Yes. So our first home match against QPR. That sounds familiar. 4-0 at half time.
It'll be your first defeat of the season.
Oh, starting strong. Come on then. How have you been since we last saw you? How have QPR been? How's your business been over summer?
Oh.
Well, hang on. You're making that noise, and yet you sent me a message not long ago going, "Oh, we're going to be strong this year. It's going to be a good year for the R's." I can probably find it on my WhatsApp if you want, where you were really quite kind of excited.
We avoided relegation, right? We avoided relegation when I thought we would go down, and we started the transfer window strongly. And I thought, yeah, we're going to go up as champions. And then, of course, other teams started buying players, Birmingham in particular. You lot have been buying players, and all of a sudden, we look very weak compared to everybody else. So I'll be happy with 6 from bottom again, I think.
Well, I love this ambition.
Let's just have a look at some of these arrivals as we film and record indeed here, which is a couple of weeks before the start of the actual season. We're doing this because Richard's going swanning around California in a little while. Let's have a look at those signings, because I think the one that really kind of caught the eye was Kwame Poku from Peterborough. He was doing some really nice stuff last season. We've picked up Hector Cipriano, who was playing in midfield with him, but this lad was very eye-catching on the right, and I think when you went and got him, I think a lot of people thought, oh, we'd quite liked him. You went and got Amadou Salif Mbengu, I can't pronounce it properly. He was the guy who was linked with us, not actually, but he was linked in the press with us. But you went and got him, and a lot of people seem to quite like this guy last year in League One. So were those the kind of two that started making you feel a bit enthused first of all?
Yeah, absolutely. Poku was the one that, I've got to be honest, I don't watch or listen or care about Division 1. So I didn't actually know anything about Poku. I just, like any football fan of their club, I'm inundated with feeds on Instagram and stuff, and all the supporters were putting clips of Poku up there saying, wow, can't believe we're going to get him. And the next minute we signed him, and I'm thinking, crikey, how have we beaten all these clubs to Poku? And I thought, great, we've got a great attacking trio there of Chair, Poku and Dembele. Yeah. And I thought, yeah, that is a good attacking midfield. The defender that came in, who I have not even attempted to say his name yet, He seems a happy chap. He's full of smiles. We desperately need a central defender that's going to stay fit for the full campaign. We suffered last year with the central defenders going missing after 4, 5, 6, 7 games. So we needed another central defender that hopefully is strong. He looks strong. I don't know anything about him. Again, Reading, Division 1, haven't got a clue. It's a bit ignorant, really, considering our whole business model is based upon now picking up kids in the lower leagues. And I think we're probably 18 months, 2 years away from having a strong team if we can hold on to our young players. We've gone all around the globe picking up youngsters.
I think it's quite understandable that your knowledge might be stretched a little bit in terms of League One. But if we have a look at the excellently named Karamoko Dembele, who's come in from Stade Brest, you're not a Brest fan?
He came in last. You're a little bit late, Pete. He came in last summer, didn't he?
I know, but I didn't get the joke in. It's been 6 months.
Okay, yeah, he's had a great pre-season. Dembele, he was injured last year most of the season, so I think he's got 3 goals in 4 games and 1 cracker at the weekend. So I think Dembele, Poku, and Chair will do quite well. That's not the worry. The worry is QPR do not have any sort of striker. So really, really problematic. They just sold Kelman at the weekend to Charlton, who banged in a load of goals for Orient last year. But he to be fair, he wasn't actually ripping any trees up in the Championship when he was with us. So most QPR fans are quite happy. He only had a year to go in his contract, and he was going to leave in 12 months. So get that 3 million in with a sell-on clause. That's good business for QPR.
Yeah, I mean, the players that have left, just for anybody who's just listening to this, Charlie Kelman, as you say, that was a big news at the weekend that the Charlton went with him. I think if I remember rightly, was it West Brom were in touting after him at one point as well. Kenneth Powell, again, another player that we were linked with for a long time, but never happened. He's gone off to Antalyaspor in southern Turkey. But Jack Colback went. One of those players that you thought was probably a gamble, and I thought did it pay off for you? Are you going to miss his experience, or
he had it? He will have 1 good game in 6, and out of the other 5, he's 5, 6 out of 10. It's just not enough in the Championship. The league gets harder every year with money constraints. So you need these players, these experienced players, to play all the time. He got sent off so often as well. He was so late with his tackles. He scored a couple of good goals in 2 years. It's not enough, is it? So no, not really. We've got some. The midfield is not. I don't think the midfield's bad for QPR. I think we're right up there with the midfield. It's the attack and the tactics. Playing it around at the back. It's just we haven't got the players to do that. So
let's have a look. Obviously, you mentioned Martin Cifuentes left, and he's gone. Where's he gone? West Brom, is it?
Leicester.
Oh my! Oh well, there you go. Good luck there, mate.
Yeah.
What was the view on him moving on, first of all, before we get on to his replacement?
Really good question, Pete. So I went to his first game, which I think was away at Rotherham, if I remember rightly. We were banging trouble at that point, all over the place. He came in first game, steadied the ship. I think we got a draw. We were winning 1-0, 5 minutes to go, conceded. But the evidence was on the pitch that day that he was going to change things, a bit more control in the game. And then we went on a bit of a run. I think we were undefeated for a while during that phase. And so that gave us a lot of hope, and he kept us up. Finished that season really strongly, if you remember. Started last season abysmally, and pressure was on him, but he turned it around again. And I think the support was probably very much how I think about him. I think he's a good manager. I don't think he's a great manager. I think he's a good manager who likes to try and play the right way, but he's not faultless. Another manager that likes to play out from the back with players that he hasn't got.
Yeah,
sticking with that, you see mistakes happening. Too much passing around the middle of the pitch, too much going backwards for my liking. But his argument was always, well, we've got control. We've got control of the ball. They can't score if they haven't got it. But we're not that team at the moment that's going to score 3-4 goals in a game. So we're always susceptible to defeat. And I think Leicester will be the same next year. I think they'll go on a run, 5-6 games doing quite well. The pressure up there, though, is going to be immense. If you go 5 games without a win there, when they think they should be in the Premier League, he'll get fired. At QPR, that expectation isn't at QPR at the moment. So
Leicester
got a bit lucky there.
Leicester had Enzo Maresca and a team that had just fallen out of the Premier League, and they were complaining about Enzo Maresca playing too much football and, want to get it down. And so, yeah, he might be the same. Let us turn, therefore, to his replacement. Now, Julian Stefan, is that it? Is the new manager at Loftus Road. Here he is, resplendent. We'll put that on the cover of the with a QPR scarf. Obviously, the new kit couldn't have been out at the time, otherwise he'd have been.
Still haven't got out. Still not out. 1 week to go. Still not out.
Oh,
I bet it's blue hoops. I bet you. Just a thought there. It's probably
Well,
blue
let me tell you, when we play you, I hope to God we do not play our first away kit. Our first away kit is arguably, and I am not joking, the worst kit, not in QPR's history, the worst kit I've ever seen.
Look at the
That is quite awful. A thing, isn't it?
It looks worse when they're running around in it. Honestly, it is awful. I really, really dislike it. I mean, I don't understand. Usually there's some sort of message behind it. The other away kit they've just released is green and white hoops, which is their original kit.
Anyway, let's get back to this man, Julian Suentes, the new manager at Loftus Road. He's basically his main two clubs that he's been at are Stade Rennes, not to be confused with Stade Brest earlier on, and Strasbourg. Taking a look down his kind of time, he came out through the kind of the youth manager route and kind of going through under 18s and development, and he actually replaced Lamucci, who was at Cardiff and Forest. He replaced him at Rennes and did an okay job. There we go, Stade Rennes. He led them to their first trophy in 48 years. Which was the Coupe de France. So he did all right. He was quite happy there. Beat PSG of all teams. He then went off after finishing third with Rennes. He kind of went off to Strasbourg for some strange reason. He finished third, but it was the year when everything kind of fell short because nobody else apart from the British decided to restart during the pandemic. But that meant that he got through to the Champions League. And then he was appointed, he went off to Strasbourg, and again, he led them to a sixth place finish, which was the first time they'd done that in literally about 40 odd years. So, he's done some good stuff. Now, I went in and went, kind of, let's have a description. Now, what you've said about the playing style of Mr. Cifuentes, let's see whether or not, you're going to be pleased or yes, or reeling like Tyson Fury against Usyk here. He says Julian Stefan's coaching style emphasizes short, accurate passes, positional fluidity, and a focus on controlling the game through possession. He favors a possession-based approach with a strong emphasis on building from the back and creating attacking opportunities through calculated risks. Stefan also utilizes a high press, particularly against teams that build from the back. Why does nobody ever fucking cotton on to this? If we all do the same thing and everybody goes and presses, why don't they go, you know what? If we occasionally bypass the midfield, their press would be fucked. But no. Let's keep fucking about with it at the back.
Yeah.
He says it adapts his formation, often employing 4-2-3-1 or 4-4-2. So it sounds like he's like everybody else in this thing. I have to ask you, therefore, this question, because you may be very pleased, but ultimately, he is indeed French. And if you needed confirmation of his Frenchness, here it is. He's sitting there wearing a grey suit with a brown polo neck. And I'm not sure anybody can get away with that. But if anybody can, it's a Frenchman. What do the fans think of this, Rich? And what do you think of this polo neck suit combination?
Well, he looks a bit like Lee Majors from $6 Million Man. In that.
And that tapping everybody can hear is Louis Teixeira Googling Lee Majors. Carry on. $6 million man, which is an inexpensive signing in the Championship these days.
Yeah. Well, he dresses like Lee Majors, but he looks a bit like Oscar Goldman, doesn't he?
Oh, look at that.
There you go. You can have that one.
I'm busy with Lindsay Wagner, one of those other
the only thing he's come out with that's any different to anybody in the last 3 or 4 years, from Beale to Critchley to this guy to Fuentes, is I think he wants the players to play forwards when they're in the attacking half with one touch.
Right.
So I think we can see some quick passing in the last third, but to get to the last third is going to be an issue for QPR because I just don't think We haven't got anybody that can take the ball out of defence. There's no Glenn Roeder in there bringing the ball out. So
These references, wow, Glenn Roeder.
So I just don't see that we're going to be in that position.
Well, there you go. There was part one with Richard there. Always a pleasure, never a chore. I did particularly enjoy the $6 million man, Oscar Goldman, Lindsay Wagner especially. I can't deny it. I did have a thing for Lindsay Wagner. Yeah, there was her, me, and Debbie Harry. In my own imagination, I was I didn't know better. Never mind. So yeah, there we are. Of course, the player that he's saying, or rather the position he was saying that he was kind of worried about was, looking good as a 4-2-3-1 with the three behind, but we don't have a forward. And of course, they have been linked with Richard Kone, the player at Wickham, who's been highly rated by an awful lot of people, and he's been linked with a 2.5 initial fee with another kind of host of sell-ons in and around, I think, 2.3. So it could take it up to 4.8. Which is quite a bit, indeed. Let's have a quick look at some of the comments on there. Jim, evening, Jim, evening, sir. Thank you very much. Tom Parker's come on and said the whole Valon Barami is very bizarre. He was sat on the bench a good hour before kickoff with Nani and stayed for the entire match. If this is our new, is he our new manager in waiting? Yeah, well, he's in the building. That's been known before. Andrews needs to go on loan, and we need a decent right back to come in. Yeah, and I think we'd been linked to people like Alfie Gilchrist. There was the Ryan Christie. There's been a number of people who we've been connected to, but of course, Adam Drury in the Watford Observer came out and said it's not the priority at the moment, and what was the priority was another centre back, one I believe. With experience, I'm not quoting Adam there, and a midfield player. We've been led to believe that might come via the Udinese route. Wouldn't that be a shock to everybody? Not. Yeah. Thomas mentions what was clear against Norwich. Tom Delibashiru, he's done. Get him gone. KMB not good enough to start. Andrews isn't a right back, and Ince, please never pick this guy again. Legs gone and not interested. Yeah, no, very, very true. The other thing that was alarming about that, just touching on last night, but also everything in pre-season, because it mentioned it there, he likes to play with a high press. Does Mr. Stefan of QPR? So do we apparently. And if that's a press, then sorry, I'm a Dutchman and I'm not a Dutchman. I've not seen us press at all. We drop very deep and we put very little pressure on the ball at any given time. A high press was what we saw from Norwich early in the second half when they were really kind of, and Sargent was leading it, others were following. We weren't pressing as a team. We weren't even pressing as a unit. Most of the time, we weren't even pressing as individuals. And that's a huge thing, because if you're just going to let the opposition have control of the ball, especially when you are 2-0 down, they'll just keep it and knock it. Very odd, very odd. Sure. Oh, yes. Now, West London Hornet does make a point here. This is very true. Surely you must have had a thing for Linda Carter. I do get the feeling we're on to my particular peccadillos of the 1970s. Not even sure peccadillos were around in the 1970s. But yes, Linda Carter, Wonder Woman for a reason. What can I say? Yeah, no, had a big influence. Certainly the Gal Gadot of her day. Was there anybody in and around the 70s or early 80s that you particularly enjoyed and found formative there, Just?
Well, I'm slightly younger than you, Peter, so I'm probably not those people. I wouldn't have thought.
I did give you the early 80s to move into. That was fine.
Yeah, no, but in the early 80s, I was 7, 8, maybe. So probably not. Probably a bit more. I don't know. It would have been kind of people out of Neighbours, I imagine, by the time I was sort of in formative years. But that's the age gap there.
Is this a secret confession that you're a bit of a Kylie enthusiast?
Well, I married one, didn't I? So
you did.
Yeah,
you did.
Yeah,
so much is now made clear. So much is now made clear. Well, we're going to get back to Rich in just a second, because as ever, I do enjoy putting Justin into an uncomfortable position with regards to all things football, and we will do that. However, there was some other news, because yesterday was the first competitive game that did not have a programme, and of course, for a lot of people. And I say for a lot of people, somewhere between 400 and about 1,500 apparently was the number of people who were buying programs. But that means that for some people, something that was really, really a tradition might not be seen anymore, but he's still going to be about.
Right, special guest. Look who it is. It's Programme Dave. Can you just say it for me? Because I miss it.
Programs!
Hey, I'm going to miss that. Dave, you've been gifted.
Yeah.
Were we right in saying a lifetime season ticket for your
from
work,
the
yeah?
club. Yeah, it's very nice.
Do you know
isn't
what?
it?
I've got to say something, mate. I think that's an incredible, incredible achievement.
It
We're
is,
going to miss
yeah.
you, man.
Thank you.
What are you going to do with your Saturdays? Just come and watch the football and enjoy?
Yeah. I think, like my mum said to me, at least you ain't got to go in so early now,
That's
and you can just go to the cafes in Watford High Street and
Am I still going to see you at Tesco's in Rickmansworth?
Oh yeah.
Oh, thank
Every
God.
little helps.
Well, and it's not just Dave.
I
obviously.
love Dave. No,
Yeah,
I love
I
Dave.
do as
I've
well.
known him for years.
Lots
I
of
knew him
people,
before he was a program.
Yeah, lots of people have been doing sales, of programs in various different parts. But obviously, he was highly visible, and it's been recognised sort of what he's done, and really nice for that. I'm very, very pleased indeed. Right, let's just get to a couple of quick comments, and then what we're going to do is get into something that who knows whether we'll do it again, because it may be untenable. Justin knows now what I'm talking about. Milshman says Victoria Principle. Yes, Dallas. I got into a soap opera for all the wrong reasons. I was eight. What can I do? Tom Parker says, only 2 games in, and it feels like QPR is a must-win game. I genuinely feel we lose the next 2 games, and the manager could be sacked. Well,
that's early for us. That would be early for us.
If we don't see an improvement in performance, it's just one of those things where you just go, oh, we wouldn't, would we? Would we? Well, look at the season. Every season that we've gone up, and I know that's only 2 under the Potsos, but they're vital. We've had multiple managers in both of those seasons. It's not like we've stuck and been particularly successful in promotion. So, yeah, hope Programme Dave is getting some sort of royalties payment with that promotion of Tesco's. I imagine he should do, Edgy. You're absolutely right. Very, very good point indeed. Well, let's get back to Richard, because one of the things that we're going to be adding in, especially for the home games as well, is another little task as to whether or not people can remember great stars of both clubs, or in this case, Clark Carlisle. Decided that this season there should be a new segment, and Justin is not aware of this, and I'm very, very pleased about it. Now, earlier on, it was mentioned about Glenn Roeder, a player who had played for both Watford and QPR, and so I think it's time for us to choose another player who has played for both teams and see if I can't pit your wits against you in what we decided to call, do not scratch your eyes, Clark Kyle edition. Untenable, not tenable,
my God.
untenable for you. So now, what we're going to do, the reason it's untenable, by the way, is because Clark Carlisle did not have 10 clubs. He played for 9. He played for 9 clubs. And what I'm going to ask you guys to do is to name which clubs you think Clark Carlisle has played for. Now, this is in ascending order for the number of appearances that he has had. Now, of course, he has played for both Watford and QPR, but you both know that, but you might want to guess about other teams that he may have already played more for. It's down to you to decide. And I think as our guest, you, Richard, may go first. Can you name a team that Clark Carlisle has played for? Now, before you do, if you get 2 wrong, that's the end of your score. And the way you win this is by having more appearances, by naming the particular club, win it. So if you get 2 wrong straight away, you could end up on 0. Let's start with Richard. Richard, can you name a side that you believe Clark Carlisle has played for?
Yes, Burnley.
He's saying Burnley. He's saying Burnley.
Fucking hell. Have I won?
152. You don't win as quickly as that, for crying out loud. Just wait.
Sorry.
We turn to Justin. You can still get it. You just need to get more teams because, of course, accumulatively, he has played more of these games. We turn to Justin. Justin, what team would you like to suggest Clark Carlisle has played for?
Well, I think AD probably had him or was with him at Leeds, which is probably where we would have got him from. See,
are you saying Leeds?
I'm saying Leeds United, yes.
He did. He got 38 appearances. So the score at the moment is that Richard is on 152 and Justin is on only 38. So we go over to Richard again. Richard, can you remember any other teams that Clark Carlisle may have played for?
I'm going to guess. I take it we can't name Watford and QPR in this.
Of course you can. It's up to you.
Then I'm going to go, obviously, QPR.
He's going QPR. We'll see. We'll see whether or not this is the case. QPR 108. Richard, you've already got the top 2 answers here. This is impressive stuff.
Thank you.
This is very, very, very impressive. So far, the score, don't be downhearted, Justin. You're only losing 38 to 259 at the moment.
It's fine. I'm used to this.
Let's go to all the other Clark Carlisle teams that you know about.
Watford.
He's gone for Watford. It's a very
really.
You did indeed. 78 plays 259 at this moment in time. Richard, give me another team.
Right, let me just have a second, because I've got to be honest with you. This is going to boil down to geography, where he's born and bred. So
this is some tidy stuff.
I'm going to go. I think once he left QPR, he went to Watford, didn't he? I think he grew up in Burnley, Preston. I'll go Preston, but it's a guess.
Let's see what the answer suggests. Oh, only 27. Justin, I think only a minor miracle will see you back here, but only a minor miracle will probably see you name another team that Clark Carlisle has played for. Let's see whether or not any miracles are around.
My knowledge of Clark Carlisle is very scant. I remember him being brilliant for us while he was with us.
You've got to give us a team.
Oh, Peter, I don't know. Let's go for all right. So you went northwest. So what other teams are in the northwest? Preston hasn't played for Everton or Liverpool. Blackpool.
He's gone for Blackpool.
Oh man,
that's
a
brave decision.
We got him from Blackpool. That's who he signed for.
Brave decision. 98.
Can't believe I didn't get that.
Unbelievable.
Well, good luck, because you've got to find somewhere else now.
The score currently 286 to Richard. Justin is on a respectable 176, having basically pulled some rabbit out of his own arse there, which is excellent.
How did I not get that? I'm living 4 miles south of Blackpool. Right, let's see where he went then, because he was at QPR. He went from Blackpool to QPR. Watford. Where would you go after Watford?
He went there. I think it's Burnley, wasn't it? I think he went to Burnley after Watford.
Yeah, could have been.
Justin, stop trying to help the opposition.
Sorry. Sorry, Richard.
I'm going to go. I'll go Bolton Wanderers.
No, he did not play for Bolton Wanderers. That's a first strike to Richard.
I've got a niggling feeling.
A niggling feeling. I like this. Carry on.
Did he cross? Did he cross the border and play for the Scum at some point?
Is that the suggestion you are giving me? You're saying Luton Town Football Club.
That would be whom I'm referring to as the Scum.
He's not wrong. He gets an extra 5 points.
Oh,
I just remember him going across there and thinking, how could you? He's one of those. Yeah.
Well, 10 is not available. There was no 10th club, and England under 21s does not count, Richard, no matter how much you go on about it. There's 2 clubs left, Rich.
I said it once.
You've got one. Yeah. You've got one bust. You can not afford it. Well, you can afford another one because you're probably home and hose. But what the hell? Let's try and create tension. Okay. Can you give me one other club?
Oh man, it's going to be some obscure club, isn't it? It's going to be someone like. I'm going to have to go somewhere ridiculous like Falkirk.
Falkirk, yes.
He did not play in Scotland. Justin, you have another 2 guesses, basically, to see whether or not you can get it. And I would say that both are north-ish.
Oh, no. What? This is completely biased.
This is not.
Who's got
crooked. Carry on.
Slightly north-ish. I don't know, Peter. Northish.
Give me a guess.
Northish Peterborough. Wrong and right there. Oh, hang on.
No, you get one more guess.
Come on, Justin.
Cambridge.
But you're not getting it. You're not getting it at all. The answer is, I said north-ish, okay?
Yeah.
York City, he put in 14 appearances.
That's quite north. York is quite north.
It is, but the one that's really north-ish is Northampton.
Oh. I don't remember any of that.
So the final scores. I don't know. No, that's called a spreadsheet.
Spreadsheet. Oh, of course.
Richard has 286 points. Justin has 181. The first victory of Untenable goes to the EFL.
It's a good job you didn't. That's nice.
Well, there we go. The first battle supreme with Untenable. Let's be honest. Where the fuck did you find Blackpool from? Because otherwise it would have been disgraceful.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm glad I did find it, because otherwise that would have been quite short and I would have lost horrendously, I think. But is that likely to make another appearance, Peter? Will we be seeing Untenable again, just so I kind of know what to expect, or are we going to have rounds of balls?
Likely to return. Do let us know in the comments, guys, if you would like Justin to have kind of basically mental harm inflicted upon him with various different questions about journeyman footballers throughout the EFL. That's roughly what we're doing here. That'll do. In the meantime, before we go to the league that dare not speak its name, yes, it's still going. I think it's the last part of Q&A this time. Normally, you guys ask us questions and we kind of flannel around and come up with some bullshit and what have you. But yesterday before the game, both Carl and Justin went down in and around the rookery and put questions to you guys. Here's some with some spelling questions as well.
Very impressed with him. He looks like a player that's going to put a tackle in and he's going to work. He's got an engine.
Spell Kyprianou.
Kyprianou.
Jesus, he has. He has.
Is that right?
He has.
Oof.
Yeah. Well done.
Woo!
What would you change for the QPR game coming up?
Not much. There's the wee doubt at number 10, with Sissoko at number 10.
Yeah.
But obviously with Georgie not fit, with Vata not fit, I don't think Greaves is quite there yet. So nothing. Let's just go out there and do it.
I've met this man on many occasions, and you hear the accent. He travels down from Scotland for most games.
3 games last season, so not bad.
And you flew down this morning for this?
Flew down this morning, silly o'clock, and we walked about London, bloody roasting, and we're flying back up silly o'clock tomorrow morning. So
I'm hoping for passing leadership from Imran Louza. He's the worker man. He's got to get things going. I want to see him back to his really, really best.
What would you change for the QPR game?
Wingers to be used. I want either like Bar or the guy, Iran Kunza, who came on. We want crosses over. Through the middle, passing his system, high press.
Yeah.
I think we've got to see more crosses over, because that's just one thing we're not doing.
Kieran Guard, can you spell his name? Have a go.
AJERRUMB. It's a fail.
GAARD. You were so close.
Are they like quiz questions, or are they just...
I know it's very early. Who's been the standout pre-season up to the first game?
Kyprianou. Yeah.
Second question. What would you change for the QPR game?
Ngakia.
Yeah. Okay.
Just
in general.
Just him, yeah. Just him.
Georgie Chetfordadze. Can you spell Chetfordadze?
No, I'm not even going to bother, to be honest. I think everyone's going to say the same thing. I reckon it's Hex Kyprianou. He was pretty good on Saturday as well against Charlton.
What change would you make from Charlton for QPR on Saturday?
Probably start Iran Kunda. If he's fitting up for 90, I'd probably stick him in to see what we can do. Give us a bit more on the wing.
Can you spell Kieran Guard?
No.
God bless Louis at the end.
Yeah. Should you see Carl or Justin or me lurking towards you, suddenly brush up on your spelling of strange names and see what you can kind of get away with from that point of view. But it was lovely going down there yesterday, and I wasn't. I was swanning in hospitality because I got invited in, and very nice it was too. I enjoyed it very much indeed. However, I do think we have probably come to that time that everybody is thinking, "Pete, come on, where is it? We know you want it. We're here to deliver.
It's the DNSYE Completely Rubbish Prediction League.
No! God, please, no! No!
Yes.
I just remembered I went 3-0 at Charlton, didn't I?
Oh, you
dear.
did. You did. I haven't even done a league table yet because we're only one game in, everybody. I mean, you know, in the old days, you didn't get a league table on day one, which pointed out that everybody who scored the most is top of the league. The EFL, it was last week, Louis from Charlton, he basically said 1-0 to the Addicts. And of course, 94th minute, that's where it ended up. So the EFL are currently top of a 5-man table, interestingly. Backgammon FC, yes. Brett, he of the rolling dice procedures, he got a point because he predicted that it would be a win for Charlton, but he didn't get the goal difference right. And our Patreons, which was Jason Rose, also said 2-0 to Charlton, so he gets a point as well. However, DNSYE are currently bottom with nothing there. However, there is a 5th team that entered, and if anybody saw our Twitter about 3 minutes before the start of this season, because I can imagine you were all thinking, oh, I wonder what Pete's going to be talking about. Yes, that's right, I was talking about fucking post boxes, because Colin from Margate, who is a postie in Margate, is utilising the predictive nature of post boxes. I'll explain a little bit more in a moment. However, I think first of all, we had to go, because we had to record it kind of out of sequence, so to speak. We needed to go, I think, really to Richard's prediction first of all. So let's go across and see what the EFL are doing this time with Richard, see whether or not they can consolidate their place at the top of the table. Well, we've talked about all things QPR. We've almost been kind of analytical and comprehensive, and then we fucked about for a bit, but never mind. In terms of, you know, here we are. You're the first person making any prediction for this year's Completely Rubbish Prediction League. Richard, you have any score you wish. There is nothing that is not available to you. That includes 1-1, which is currently available. You can have, what do you think the score's going to be when the R's come wearing resplendent in their yellow and their pink and sort of off black kind of number to Vicarage Road? What's the score going to be?
Do you know? I think. Who are you playing your first game of the season?
Charlton away.
You'll win that.
Oh,
you'll win that. You will win that. Then you play midweek or not midweek? Are you playing in the League Cup?
Play Norwich midweek in the League Cup. So we'll lose at home.
Where?
At home. We're playing at home.
They're a bit of a funny team, aren't they? You never know with them.
We won't have our first team out for that, though. That'll be...
No, okay. I think that QPR will win their first game. It's at home against Preston. We always beat Preston. I think it will be 1-1. 1-1. Honestly, I think it'll be 1-1. Here we go. I think Watford will concede an own goal.
What? This is random. What? We're going to score your goal for you? Is that what you're saying?
I just love the way that people spend time trying to analyse things and going, well, no, we always beat we always beat Preston. No, you don't. You never did. Never mind. So, and he's gone for 1-1. All options are back in play this season, simply because I haven't basically managed to cock up the league yet with additional things. I mentioned AFC Postbox, and I think it's time you saw what's happening this time here. So Colin has commented he's going to be sending us pictures. On occasions, we might even get video. It might be that, but we'll see. I thought he had done this, but no, he was away. However, his prediction is, and it's the post box on the left. There was 2 letters in it. So Watford 2. He's always going with the first home team first, and 1 in the second. So he's gone for that. And the reason why Colin was a little bit sort of reticent was because I think he's been away from work. So this is what I actually got sent over. He's got his colleagues to get involved with this. I have just received the photos from my colleague Lisa for the purposes of correctly predicting the result of the game against QPR. Correctly predicting. Confidence, I think. Confidence in this kind of, this sort of divining football results via the use of letters. Fine. In order of the box opening, home first team 2. Don't bother asking me who's going to score the 2. He says, an away team 1. He also said, I've included a third. I've included a third picture just in case that result's gone. Don't have to do that this year. We're going to make it much, much more simple. So we only need the 2 photographs, but there we go. We've got somebody called Lisa who doesn't support Watford trying to predict football results by the use of letterboxes. And I think this is a good thing and we should do more of it.
Can I suggest that people aren't sending as many letters as they used to if there's only 2 in one box and 1 in another?
That's highly critical of the postal service. These people are performing a good public service, and
that's fine. But what happens if they open one and there's 25 in one box and 16 in another? Are we doing some sort of other way of doing it? I love having. Yeah, it's great having new people on board because obviously the dog's missed and and John's missed. So having a nice new idea, fantastic. Good on you, Colin. Thank you.
Well, the other team who got a point, as well as Backgammon FC, which we'll finish with, I think, here is the Patreons. And this week haven't got a video, but Greg went for. He said Watford 3, QPR 1. Well, actually, what he said was Watford 3, QPR 1, because that's my best impression. I'm sorry, Greg. You know me.
Well, funny enough, that's what Jesse Hornet's gone for as well there. So
that's fair enough. Well, he likes to be hopeful. Not so sure after last night he was feeling that, but hey, look, there's always another game. There's always another trouncing coming round the corner for everybody. Let's see what Brett did. Now, Brett has decided that he's taken on the mantle from John. John was previously the head of JP Backgammon FC. It's been rebranded. It is now Backgammon FC because it can't be just named forever after its founder. It's Backgammon FC, and it's being run by Brett. Now, you must all remember, everybody, that Brett is a drummer. Therefore, he does have certain problems. And in this particular instance, thin grip on reality seems to be one of them.
Now, Prediction League, Watford versus QPR. Because we haven't got any obvious rivals this season, I would say that QPR are our obvious rival this season. And therefore, I'm going to do the Prediction League in the most appropriate way for our obvious rivals. So let's go. Here is Watford. That is 6 minus 1. That is 5 for Watford. And now, QPR. And that is 4 minus 1, which is 3. So it's 5-3 to Watford. Yeah!
There's a lot to unpack there. One,
is quite a bit.
Why do we need the defenders? What's that all about? Secondly, who fished them dice out of the bowl when he'd finished recording? I mean, I love Brett, but he's just bonkers, is he not?
He is, but he is a drummer, and also because he's a drummer, obviously he's deaf, which is why he starts shouting 3/4 of the way through it. Who knows? Who knows? Anyway, the scores we have so far for the prediction for QPR is 1-1 from the EFL, which is Mr. Richard Honey. We have Backgammon FC there predicting 5-3 and feeling a little flushed. Badum tish. We got AFC Postbox, who has gone 2-1 to Watford, and the patrons have gone for 3-1. Justin, you have to put forward, hopefully, a slightly more successful prediction than last week's 3-0 to Watford, which, let's face it, did not materialise.
Can we lose 3 on the bounce, Peter? Is it possible? I suppose it is. Yeah, let's see. I think I might go with a 1-1 draw.
Oh, hello. I make it available.
Peter.
I make it available, and Justin's running home to mama, everybody. He's going back for the 1-1.
I am.
Oh, dear. There you go. So we've got 2 who've gone for 1-1. 1-1 previously not available. Now everybody's having it. Honestly, it's very, very stylish 1-1 thing to have. Backgammon 5-3. Patreons have gone 3-1. 2-1 says AFC Postbox. I'm just really glad that we've got various things going on there. But, there we go. Last thing before we let everybody go. Crikey, we've done this in about an hour. This is what I was aiming for. My God, we'd almost get there. However, just want to say one thing. Was last week on the after the Charlton game, we had somebody come on and say about Georgie Chakfatadze and a conversation with the physiotherapy people, or with the physio at Watford, and the comment was made that he'd been told that there wasn't a firm diagnosis, that they didn't know what it was, and that he could be out for months. Then I would suggest probably as a result of that, the club make a statement on, I think it was the Monday, stating that, well, let me turn to that particular one straight away. It said Georgie Chakfatadze is being lined up for a return to action next month following a complex foot issue, not naming the foot issue, calling it a complex foot issue. The Georgian playmaker has been plagued by a bone issue since the away game at Bristol City in April, a result of overload and repetitive impacts. The tissue is known to be slow healing area, so that Chakfatadze was ruled out for the rest of the last season. This was basically kind of after that Bristol City game, where also obviously Quadro Bar broke down after 15 minutes, didn't he? He reported back early for pre-season to continue with his rehabilitation, was keen to be a key figure under Paolo Pezzolano. A scan in June showed the issue was still present but less severe, so he was phased progressively back into the main group last month and was scheduled to play part in the friendly against Deportivo. However, after 5 sessions, Chakfatadze has sort of basically broken down again in terms of reporting pain. After consultation with, and I love this phrase, an industry-leading foot expert, I would love to see that business card. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, exactly. A period of non-impact and work on strength and conditioning only has been advised for 6 weeks, 2 of which will be doing the first international break. The all clear following the scan thereafter would herald a much anticipated return to action for the popular schemer. A lot of people went, schemer? I don't think he's a schemer, he's a footballer, isn't he? Sounded more derogatory all the way through to that last. And a lot of people I saw were basically then having a go at that person, saying, oh, well, he's wrong, isn't he? No, that's precisely what he said. It's precisely what he said. If you take it from now for 6 weeks, that puts you right at the back end of September. And then he's got to have the scan. Then he's got to have the all clear. Then he hasn't played seriously since April. He's going to have to go into, so even the best case scenario is still going to be not next month. It's going to be the month after. I'm sorry, but that's absolutely factually inaccurate to say that it would be next month. And that's not quite what they've said. They've said 6 weeks, then he'll be coming back in, etc. It's nobody's problem. Footballers get injured. I think most people, or many people, will remember back to the 2013, 2014, after the Deeney goal, and Alman Abdi was hardly anywhere to be seen because he had what's called plantar fasciitis, which is, again, complex problems in the foot are very difficult to definitely know about. I've seen suggestion that it might be a stress fracture. It sort of could be, but actually stress fractures are typically scannable. And you would kind of know typically what it was because you can scan for them via X-ray. You can then go to CT scan, MRI, and then you can also go for a bone density scan if you need to for all of those sort of things. Look, it doesn't really matter. He's a player. He's still with us in a way that makes sure that there's no temptation to let him go out. But, if somebody comes out and says, I was there talking to somebody, and we have to take responsibility on for this because, and me especially, because I'm the one who sits there on the Twitter spaces and says, come on and say what you wish to say. And a lot of people, you guys probably included, care a great deal for the club and care a great deal for the supporters and go, I know something, I'm just going to share it with you. And then for somebody to turn around and go, oh, well, that's completely inaccurate because read the article, people. Read the article. Read beyond the headlines. Honestly, that would really help because all that person is trying to do is say, "This is what I've heard," and kind of their end of my piece. Let's see what anybody else has put in. Oh, there we go. West London Hornet. I'm sensing a certain element of Gary about all of this. Says anything Pete does that makes Justin suffer is something I can really get behind. I like that very, very much indeed. And Richard Fairbanks says, what did he say? No dice, as they say. Oh, well, yeah, well, it may have been flushed away. Thomas likes the tenable part, so we're going to be doing that again.
Thomas can come and play sometime then. Yeah, no problem. That's all good.
Yeah, well, hopefully by the next time we're on, which obviously we will be on and doing a spaces. There was some technical issues because of trying to do things via this, and possibly I would suggest, as anybody can hear with Justin's audio, possibly his laptop. So we'll try and get that sorted. But we've got worked out how we'll be getting it done. So it will be available to kind of view on YouTube in this kind of sense, because a lot of people asked us, could we do something outside of X to still reference the phone in, because the whole idea is for us to basically give over, oh crikey, we pompously call it a platform for everybody to do to literally capture your voice. That's why, you know, Justin and Carl are going up and going, you know, would you like to be on video? Are you okay with it? That you don't have to do it. You don't have to do that. You can come on and contribute in a faceless fashion on the spaces, or you can put in the notes. It's all about really just trying to take one bit of the community of the club and going, well, we'll be in charge of that. The fans, let's do that. And that's really what we hope to continue. So there we go. So we will see you again after the QPR match. Fingers crossed for that.
I might see you before the QPR match. If you see me walking around on my phone and some little microphones, yeah, you might end up on a little reel or on TikTok or on our video. So do come over and say hello. We don't bite. We're very friendly.
Yes, we do indeed. Right, guys, thank you ever so much for sticking with us, despite everything that we say and everything that we do. We will see you all soon. Cheerio now.